Wow, I don't think I've ever seen so many white people in a place since a Mike Pence prayer rally. Hello, Caucasians. All right, I know what you're thinking. Who let the Uber driver onto the stage? My name is Shahan Islam, and I hope I don't bomb this routine. I probably should not even use the word bomb with my name. Shahan Islam bombs. Please don't start heading for the exits now. As you can guess from my name, the vast majority of my relatives are Muslim, some quite traditional, a few even wear the burqa. There are some advantages to the burqa, though. You never have to worry about a bad hair day, your bikini lines don't show, or you never have to worry about getting picked out of a police lineup. I guess unless you're the only one in the lineup with the burqa, it's not going to happen. Yeah, some of my relatives are very different from you guys. They believe, for instance, in sex after marriage. Oh, come on, you promiscuous whiteys. So here we are in 2020. You would think that there's a lot of diversity today, but wherever I go, it just doesn't seem that way. From my church, where I live, my activities, this audience, take a look around. I'm about the only minority here. So wherever I go, my role is always the same. I'm always brought in to be the walking diversity visual aid. Ooh, he seems safe. No foreign accent either. So word to the management here, please be sure to put me on all your brochures and plaster my image all over the website. So when I interviewed for this gig, I said I was born in Bangladesh and grew up in Ohio. And their diversity antenna immediately shot up and they told me, Shahan, this is great. I am sure nobody here has met anyone from Dayton, Ohio before. So the management here apparently heard my routine. But hey, I do what every male comedian does. I talk about my penis. Oh yeah, that's coming. So the management here gave me the spiel on political correctness. They said, Shahan, no jokes in the category of gays, none in the category of the Middle East, none in the category of political parties. But you know what my problem is? I don't listen very well. So these two lesbian Arab Republicans were sitting in a bar. Kidding. Actually, I hope I didn't offend anyone. Are there any lesbian Arab Republicans here? Wow, I didn't realize there was such a huge voting bloc. I see someone trying to raise a hand in the back there. Whoops, you couldn't get it out of your burqa. Sorry, everyone, I have a lot of family members here. So the other person who raised the hand in the back, for precisely how long have you been a lesbian Arab Republican, sir? Thank you. So I was raised by my Bangladeshi dad and Canadian stepmom. Now, if you're not familiar, there's one big difference between USA and Canada. The USA has a nice neighbor. And my wife, her last name is Eisenberg, and she raised her girls to be Jewish. So after we met, she told the girls, hey, I met this guy, Shahan Islam. And they said, Shahan Islam, is he Jewish? My wife said, no. I'm not sure how she knew, because up to that point, we'd never discussed faith before. Terrell Eisenberg is so brilliant that way. I'm very active in the Unitarian Church and started a well-known Unitarian Youth Exchange program connecting Unitarian youth and families on both sides of the Atlantic. I know that's a lot, but please stay with me. Shahan Islam, stepdad to the Eisenberg girls, active in the Unitarian Church. It's multiculturalism, really, all embodied within myself. So this exchange program requires me to travel to Germany now and then. Ja, wir müssen alles nur auf Deutsch reden. Ja, German pride. Now you are really worried. You let this dark guy into the club, and he's a frickin' closet Nazi. Well, the truth is, my name does cost me so much time and hassle at airports. I was in Berlin recently, before the coronavirus, and it's amazing how so many people there are freaked out over Syrian immigration. Many Germans feel like Syrians are taking over. So at the Berlin airport, two customs officials looked me over, and one said to the other, I could understand his German, "Hey, this guy looks like a Syrian refugee." So they asked about me. "Occupation?" I said, "Oh, no, sir. I'll be leaving just after a conference." Then he asked me, "Have you brought any weapons into the country?" Now, does this type of trick question actually work? "Oh, yes, officer. You got me. Ding, 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 ding. Bonus points. Wow, you are good." Then he asked for my name and what I was doing in Germany. So I said, "I'm Shahan Islam, and I'll be attending a Unitarian conference in Berlin." Then he immediately let me go and laughed. I was relieved, but annoyed. I asked, "What is so funny?" He looked at me and he said, "Son, anybody stupid enough to make up such a far-fetched story, a Shahan Islam is going to a Unitarian conference, is way too stupid to be a danger to society. Come right in." Apparently, he was a German from Texas. Thank you. So, in my everyday life, I work for a large drug company. In fact, for quite a lot of years. I've seen so many industry and policy changes and the expansion of drug advertising. One of the drugs my company sells is the little blue pill. In fact, it's the most counterfeited drug in the world, and a lot of the counterfeits contain all kinds of junk. So of course, I tried it out at home. It contained some metallic impurities. The product worked, but there was a side effect. I was always pointing north. I would have won naked and afraid. Nope, I don't need a map. I don't need the stars. I got my own compass right here. I am good. Now, I do like drug commercials. The people seem so happy, moonlight walks on the beach, riding bikes on country roads, jumping into the pool. My life is not like that, but I want their life. And so now, I know exactly what I have to do. I'm going to work hard to catch an STD. Hey, I want their life. There's one drug commercial I'm really glad is on TV so that everyone can be more aware of it. It's for Peyronie's disease, or PD. Whether you know it or not, you've seen the commercials. They tastefully show a very curved cucumber and ask men if their cucumber is like this. Now, guys are often shy to talk about it, so let me ask you women here. Ma'am, is that your boyfriend or husband? Good. Okay, so let me ask you, does he go right or left? Oh, neither. So he's a straight shooter, that's what you're saying. Well, okay, I have a confession. I hook left. Now, it's problematic. If you have a small bed, no, seriously, let me explain. Because with each thrust, calm down. Comedy is a way to tell the truth and be vulnerable. So with each thrust, there's a shift. It's really just the summation of vector forces, or it's kind of like the Bernoulli effect. That is the forces on your boat's sails, which help the huge keel part the warm waters. Oh, come on. This is science, okay? Now, there, I thought I'd also throw in a yachting reference there, as this is Ridgefield, and I want to be relatable. You guys certainly aren't like those rednecks over there in Bethel. So each thrust, oh ma'am, yes, you like the word thrust, I see. So with each thrust, you move laterally. So if you're on a small bed, you can fall after a few thrusts. Now if you're curved the other way, you can repeatedly slam your head against the wall. It's a big problem. Even with a medium-sized cucumber, you absolutely need head protection. That is, she does. Like, you need a helmet on this head. Oh, okay, enough. Now, so when I met my wife, she invited me back to her home. Now, I should have had this discussion with her well beforehand. Things got a little amorous, and we made our way into her bedroom. And then I saw it. There it was. She had a tiny twin bed. So I just stopped. I couldn't go on. I said, babe, we have to discuss something. I said, hon, you know how some people are liberal and they lean left? She said, wait, stop. And she grabbed the bed, moved it across the room to rest it against the other wall, revealing 2 helmets on the floor where the bed had just been. I first noticed my PD. Well, man, you know that sometimes you have to adjust yourself, right? That is, you can't go into the bathroom, so what do? You reach into your pocket, go across the front, right? And kind of shift things to get your boy nestled back comfortably. I discovered that I was playing a lot of pocket pool, but wearing out only my left pocket. The second clue was at the men's urinals. Not from any discussion there. Now, for you women, let me explain what goes on in the clandestine world of urinals. The urinal is just not a place for introductions. Tom, meet Harry. I see that you two have a lot in common and should really get together. You just can't do that. Now, women, we men just can't say, hey, Joe, Linda and I are a huge admirer of yours. Why don't you two come over and we'll party? This is not the ideal place to complete your social calendar. You certainly can't have a lengthy intellectual conversation there. You can't say, Jim, I've been dying to ask you, do you think Goethe was overly harsh in his interpretation of Kant's Critique of Pure Reason? You just can't discuss Kant when one hand is occupied. About all you can say, and it has to be just before you reach that critical 3 feet of the silent zone, about all you can say, and this is before the silent zone, is a simple, hey. And it can't be a loud, hey! It has to be a manly kind of hey, which may be supplemented at your discretion with a subtle nod, kind of like a hey. Even better is a deep, manly hey, like hey. Kind of like 2 jocks getting dressed in the locker room before the big game and patting each other on the butt. So I certainly did not discover my PD from conversations at the urinal. And you were also supposed to look straight ahead at the urinal, right? But men, admit it, every once in a while, you very casually glance down to the side. Why? Because we men are insecure. We need to compare. I gotta tell you, I look and say to myself, yeah, not bad. I think I measure up. So as my PD grew worse at the urinal, I would have to stand facing to the right, basically for an accurate direction of stream flow. It can make my neighbor very uncomfortable. But in the last year, though, all my new friends only seem to have come from the right side. Today, men don't have to go through what I did. Thankfully, and your husband, ma'am, may wish to try this, the problem can be medically assessed in the home or right in your own seat with a home kit. The leading kit is called PD Measure. But there are generic ones out there that are not nearly as good. They come with a caliper, laser, and a laser interferometer. In fact, this kit comes with a description and instructions. Let me read it. A method of determining variance from a predetermined normal of a male corpus cavernum comprising the steps of holding a collimated beam, I think that's a laser, with the same hand and projecting the beam from a distal end of the cavernum toward the pelvic epidermal substrate. Oh, Jesus, that is crazy. It's just too complicated and filled with medical jargon. So I think it would be best for me to show you right here exactly how it's done. So, I really didn't think I would exactly do it. So you support it And you hold the laser and you project it towards your body, and then you take the caliper and you measure the distance of the bend, and this is your alpha variable. It's measured in millimeters. Please, men, though, check your ego. The unit is millimeters, and you do want this number to be small. The third instrument, which is too big to put in the kit bag, is a laser interferometer, which looks something like this. And this is a picture of it in my basement. It basically takes up the whole basement. And it's designed to measure the beginning of the curve to the end. This is your beta variable. Now, laser interferometers are a little bit pricey. It's about 500 grand, but they are very accurate. I know 500 grand is a lot, but you can go across the border to Montreal and get it for about $7-8. So if you'd like to borrow these instruments, they work. Let me just wipe it down for you. You can measure right there from the convenience of your own seat. Just one thing, though, and I probably shouldn't have to say it at all. You know, we all hate those who obnoxiously chew gum or crinkle paper during someone's routine. So please do your measuring between routines. Otherwise, it would just be rude. So I am, like many of you, quarantined because of the coronavirus. I'm ensconced at home, wondering, who the hell are all these people in my house? And do I really have to feed them all? I can't imagine what young people are going through in this quarantine. Do we meet and have sex? What if I get a bad case of the coronavirus? What if I can't get a ventilator? What if I go into a coma? But if the potential partner is gorgeous, I will probably come out of that coma. And those new ventilators, maybe you heard, they're equipped with Alexa. The wake word is not Alexa, but oh God, he's evil. That's just wrong. It's amazing how many hours I've had to spend with my own wife in this quarantine. People talk about a baby boom after the quarantine. Not at our house. We don't have sex. You see, we are married. We've just run out of toilet paper, though. But thankfully, I had just reinstated our New York Times subscription, which we are finally putting to good use. I like the sports section. My wife likes home and garden. Hey, times are rough. Thank you. I find that during the quarantine, I have a lot of power over the family. If anybody acts up, I just threaten to bring in the mail. Oh no, anything but that, Dad. We'll do whatever you want. This quarantine has been really bad for my diet, though. For instance, I did not realize that Twizzlers and Oreos were staple foods. After a week, I realized that this was the curve that needs to be flattened. So now there's a 2% chance that I'll die from the coronavirus, but a 3% chance that I'll die from the cholesterol, 4% chance that I'll die from the diabetes, and 5% chance that I'll die from obesity. Well, we've been training to stay fit and taking family walks. I'm taking this fitness, though, to a different level. I am training for the Olympic Games during the quarantine. I am training to be on the winter curling team. My wife has been very supportive. From the beginning of the quarantine, she would hand me the broom and tell me to sweep all the floors. She would yell, "Shahan, Shahan, you got this. Think Beijing 2020. Tara Leisenberg is so inspirational. My wife is also training for Beijing. In the evening, when the kids are in bed, and I see her lying there looking beautiful, I try to make my move. But she reminds me she's training for Beijing too. I asked her, "Hey, what are you training for?" She says, "It's the luge." "Don't touch, honey. I am training." I understand now. During the quarantine, to be calming and helpful though, I'm not going to wear a mask. Hey, just doing my part. The public doesn't like it when Shahan Islam says bomb, but they would absolutely hate a guy named Islam walking around alone with a mask. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm Shahan Islam. Thank you. Thanks.